Welcome back, everyone. For today, we're going to review some of our ideas from yesterday for those who didn't finish it or get a chance to watch the video. We're going to talk about some big concepts like nonviolent resistance, which is going to be a key way of protesting during the civil rights movement, trying to create change through peaceful protest. The other major idea is something called civil disobedience, peacefully breaking laws that you find to be immoral. And these would be, example would be like Rosa Parks, refusing to give up her seat because doing so would be complying with a racist, immoral law. So she refused to do that. She purposely broke the law as a form of protest. We've also learned about boycotts, marches, sit-ins. These are all examples of peacefully fighting back. And yesterday we talked about how Martin Luther King is sort of the unofficial leader. His views, his opinions, his speeches had a big impact on people, and a lot of them followed this way of protesting. So we're going to talk about three major protests that happened in the 60s because of the Civil Rights Movement. The Birmingham Youth Protest of 1963, March on Washington, that was where the I Have a Dream speech was. That was also in 1963, about 6 months later. And then the Selma March, which is going to be a couple years after that. As we're learning about these, let's remember that the Cold War is happening during all this. All right, so the whole stuff we learned about with Cuba happened the year before this happened. John F. Kennedy is going to be assassinated a few months after the I Have a Dream speech. The Gulf of Tonkin incident and troops being sent to Vietnam is going to happen before this Selma March. So all these events that are happening with the Cold War are happening at the same time as all this civil rights movement. We'll start with the Birmingham Youth Protest. This is going to be in Birmingham, Alabama, which is in the south part of the United States. And it's going to be a group of young high school students who are going to march out of school because of the treatment they're receiving. And they're going to march down the street in Birmingham, and the police are going to show up. And the police are not going to kindly ask them to go back to school. The police are going to violently arrest them. And as the students walk peacefully, the police are going to send attack dogs on them, and they're going to attack them and bite them and rip their clothes. And you can see here this young man's being physically arrested. And reminder that this kid's not much older than most of you, maybe 17 years old. All right, he's being attacked by dogs, and he's going to be peaceful about it. He's part of the nonviolent resistance. So peacefully protesting, but he's not going to physically fight back. Doesn't end there. The fire department's going to show up with fire hoses and spray everyone to try and end the protest. You can see all the kids are putting their hands on their head and everything. Like they're just going to sit and take it. They're not violent. They're not causing a problem. They're just being attacked by the fire department. We'll watch a video on this as a class, so you can pause this one. The next event, which is a few months later, is going to be the I Have a Dream speech. This is part of the March on Washington for Jobs and Equality. So this is going to be really important because it's not going to be down in the South where these racist police and cities have all the power. They're going to Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, to signify that racism and discrimination is not just a problem in Alabama. It's a problem the whole country has to deal with. And it's going to be this huge protest, and it's not about ending segregation. It's about equal opportunity to get jobs and fighting for real equality. And this is going to be the moment where Martin Luther King gives his famous I Have a Dream speech. Next, we're going to talk about the Selma March, which is going to also be in Alabama. And this is going to be a march for voting rights, for African Americans to have more rights and freedoms, opportunities to vote and have influence in politics. So what people are going to do is they're going to march from the town of Selma to the capital of Montgomery and hold a protest there. So they're going to march over this bridge, this very famous bridge, and they're going to demand more rights with voting. Unfortunately, the police are waiting for them on the other end of the bridge, and it is going to get violent, but it's not going to be the protesters who are violent. They're going to peacefully protest. It is going to be the police who come in on horses and attack these people. And it's called Bloody Sunday because it's going to be very violent and a lot of people are going to get hurt. We'll watch a couple videos on this incident as well. Your activity for today is to look at some other civil rights leaders besides Martin Luther King who were very involved in the nonviolent resistance movement. And this one will be on Schoology. Open that up. Once you have that opened up, you can see there are a few different names I listed here, some of the more famous civil rights activists of the time. You're going to pick two of them. Pick two of these people. Tell me about them. When were they born? Where did they live? Find a picture of them from the 60s. What impact did they have? This should be a little bit longer. Find important quotes that they had and then explain them in your own words. All right, so you're going to be doing some research today on some different civil rights leaders besides Martin Luther King.